Yes, so today we will be speaking upon blended learning, which is definitely the futuristic pedagogy. I had never thought that blended learning, which is used in universities, which is a concept which is practiced in universities for scholars, I will be addressing on this pedagogy for preschool educators. But see, times change, and here I am to address on blended learning, which is a futuristic pedagogy. Can I have the next slide? All right. So I share the content of this 1 hour that we are going to address on blended learning. I'll be talking about what is blended learning process. We'll be talking about what why blended learning in preschool, what is the need of blended learning. Then we'll be talking about benefits, challenges, and definitely if we have challenges, we'll be sharing some tips to overcome these challenges. Then there are different types of blended teaching learning processes. We will not go much into detail of these processes, but we'll just talk about it. Then we come to the key ingredients of blended learning, followed by the new normal. Why do we need blended learning? One of the reasons is new normal. So we'll be talking about how the blended learning pedagogy will be helping in the new normal and then the way forward. Can I have the next slide? So I think this is the summary of what we are going to talk this evening. Talking about blended learning. Now, most of you must be doing it. I'm just giving it technical terms, educational terms. In the end of this hour, you will understand that nothing is there which the educators are not trying, but we are trying to make it more organized. So blended learning is a unique combination of offline and online learning in a manner that one complements the other. You are neither offline, you are not online, but you beautifully blend the offline and online learning so that they complement each other. Now, blended learning occurs when digital and face-to-face teaching meet. So it has to be both digital and face-to-face teaching. Can I have the next slide? Blended learning is an integration. It's a blend. It's a hybrid of offline, online, traditional, face-to-face learning, remote learning, experiential learning, and computer is definitely an integral part of it. When I talk about online, it is anything that is digital. It can be self-made videos. You may or may not use internet. So it can be self-made PowerPoint presentation, videos from internet, ebook, or anything else that is on the screen. The offline can include when the children are working on their own, when they are working in groups, when they are face-to-face with the teacher, or now I must say when they are face-to-face with the parents. So all this blended, the hybrid of all this is blended learning. So it has all these ingredients in it. Can I go to the next, please? Now, as I said, blended learning involves integration of online, offline, experiential, and face-to-face learning. A blend of classroom teaching and remote learning is blended learning. Combination of computers and traditional teaching, a blend of it is blended learning. So you all must be doing it, but I'm just giving it technical terms. We go to next. Now, why blended learning? As I said, it is the futuristic pedagogy. This generation is, as it is, very techno-savvy. They need a screen, they need a device to eat, they need a device to sleep, they need a device to play. So we as educators need to adapt to online modes, the digital mode, and the classrooms are changing every day and evolving with new e-learning methods, tools, and techniques. I would like to share how the classrooms are changing, and the classrooms have changed so fast. Can I have the next slide, please? This is the classroom before COVID. This is a classroom which used to be before COVID, a normal classroom. Now this is the changed classroom. The homes have become classrooms, so it's definitely changing. The next slide to prove that how the classrooms are evolving and changing. How is the new environment, the new demand of the hour has changed the classrooms. This used to be before March, and you can just see what is next. Can you go to next, please? Yeah, this is the new classroom. May you go to the next slide, please? You keep on clicking. Yeah, this was the old classroom where learning happened together, and now it's digital. This is the new classroom. So classrooms are changing and we are evolving as educators. This is a very common scene. Now it has converted to this. You can go to the next. I'm just sharing the pictures to prove that the classrooms are changing and we need to adapt. This is again a regular feature of any preschool, and see how it has become now. You may go to the next slide. Yeah, this was the classroom and it has now changed, transformed into this. So now why blended learning? I come back to the same question. So this is the pedagogy to cope up with the new normal due to COVID-19 induced situation. I'm saying that not only right now, which is the COVID era, post-COVID era also, we will have to cope up with the new normal. The normal will never return, not very soon return back. So we cannot say that normal will be back soon. We will have to live in the new normal. So that is why we need to have blended learning. Can we have the next slide? Yeah. Now I will be talking about the benefits of blended learning. I hope I'm clear with blended learning. It is a blend of online, offline, experiential learning, face-to-face learning, remote learning. You blend it all and it is a new approach. So the benefits of this approach is that it is visually compelling and exciting. It is student-centric. It is fun for both teachers and students. It prepares the students as lifelong learners. Can I go to the next slide? Yeah. Now the challenges. The challenges are delivering lesson content within a set class time. Friends, you all must be knowing that we used to have children for 3 to 4 hours, 5 days a week with us. And we could do so much with them. But now the classrooms have condensed to say 30 minutes once a week or twice a week or maximum thrice a week. So we have to deliver all our lesson content within a set class time. This is a big challenge. All educators must be facing the second challenge, which is lack of face-to-face engagement. We cannot see their expressions. We cannot understand whether they are understanding, whether are we reaching out to them or not. So that is a big challenge. Resisting change in the mindset of the parents, the mindset of the teachers, everything is a big challenge. Designing content is another challenge. Your old lesson plans will not work in a blended approach. Lesson plans are a recipe. The ingredients are at the right time, right in the ingredients at the right time, in right proportion is the key to success. So, designing new content for blended learning, which has offline, online, face-to-face, everything in it. And managing and monitoring the progress. You don't have the children with you. You don't have their work in front of you. So how will you monitor their progress? How will you manage their progress? That is another challenge. How will you assess the outcome? Assessment is a big problem. You cannot see the change that you have brought into the learner. That is another challenge. Then reluctance to take responsibility for learning. Educators, those who are with us, this is the state of our education affairs, that the whole responsibility of learning used to be with the teacher, with the educator. The responsibility of learning of the learner used to be on the shoulders of the educator. But now the responsibility has shifted to the learner and partly to the parents. And there is a reluctance, and which is a big challenge. Technology is another challenge. There are challenges with devices, there are challenges with the connectivity. So after talking about the challenges, I'll give some tips in the next slide on how to overcome these challenges. Can I have the next slide, please? Yeah. You need to provide time for completion and divide work into bite-sized modules. Don't overdo. Don't give the children a lot to eat. Give bite size which they can chew properly and they can swallow it properly. So please take care that you design a lesson plan where enough time is given, thoughtfully enough time is given. Explain your expectations to do at home and in class. When the children are remotely learning, you should spell your expectations properly. Use appropriate tools. Friends, we are still not updated. PowerPoint is not the only online mode. It's not the only tool. Videos are not the only tool. Go out and experiment. There is so much in the digital world. I can give you some suggestions. Screencast-O-Matic, a wonderful tool. Screencastify, Moodle. I've personally used it after this COVID era. They are beautiful and they'll make your life comfortable. So they are one of the tools to overcome the challenges. You will have to design your content very, very smartly. You need to develop what you want to deliver, and you need to deliver. You need to decide what is to be delivered online, what is to be delivered offline. Can we go to the next slide after this? After overcoming the challenges, I would like to, can we go to the, yeah, I would just speak out some blended learning types. You may not use them in preschool. The rotation model, face-to-face driver, online driver, enriched virtual model, flex learning model, flipped classroom model, project-based learning model, inside-out learning model, outside-in learning model. These are some models. I'll not go into the details of this because you don't need them in preschool. After that, we go to the next slide, which talks about, can we have the next slide? It talks about the key ingredients. As I said, lesson plan is the recipe. The ingredients of this lesson plan, which is to be used for blended approach. The first is the learning outcomes. You should know what do you expect from the learner. What will the learner be able to do after the learning happens? And friends, always learning outcomes are to be in the behavioral terms. What can the learner be able to do? Learner will be able to write, he will be able to jump, he will be able to count. So that is what is expected in this blended approach. Start with, deep understanding. You should have a deep understanding. Just don't start it. Think small chunks. Design activities. Have proper tools and resources. Plan joyful learning experiences. And one size does not fit all. This is the blended approach is the great opportunity to address individual differences. You can plan activities as per your learner's need. This is one of the biggest advantage of blended approach. You can reach out to each and every learner. Then comes seek parental help. You will have to shoulder your responsibility slightly onto the parents. So these are the ingredients. You have it in your lesson plan and it's going to be a wonderful plan. Give the learner challenging experiences. We need to give all the learners, don't underestimate them. These kids of today's generation are really smart. Listening and reading to the stories will not help them. You will have to extend it to a more challenging situation. You give them follow activities like drawing inferences, adding or changing the climax at the end. Most of my fellow educators must have experienced this. You give them a chance to change the climax, and so creative and so beautiful climaxes they come out of. You cannot even think, you cannot go into their imaginative world. Give them picture reading, art and craft, puzzles, include simple observation projects, give them something new to learn, new words to learn. These can be the challenging experiences. Can we go to the next slide, please?
If you are able to look into the future, you will see that most of the learning is going to happen with a lot of fun, lot of gamification, lot of emotion and a lot of technology. Square Panda, which has disrupted the whole scenario. The system wherein the child learns not just ABCD but learns how to pronounce them, how to read them.
Pan. Sap is on pan. Sap is on pan. Good job. Yes.
We should look at new methodologies and accept them. These are research based. There are a lot of trials have been done on children, parents, everybody. If it is effective, then there is no reason why we should not accept it.
Yeah, when I say involving parents, we cannot avoid this. Occasionally organize brief and casual meetings with the parents and children through video conferences and give them a chance to narrate their feelings and experiences. Encourage the parent to document the child's work through a photo or a short video in order to stay connected to the child's early learning experience without making it stressful or going for rote learning. Guide parents regarding monitoring TV programs, viewing, about what cartoons they can see, what programs are being watched by the children. So you need to continuously guide the parents and involve them in the process of learning. Can we go to the next? When the new normal arises, as the picture says, day A, we will not have all the children together. Expect some staggering, program. Day one, the learners who are in the school. Day B, they are at home. So, a few learners, say 50% will be in the school and 50% of them will study from home. So in your lesson plans, please have a provision of offline, online mode. We need to learn that all the students might not be present in our class. We will have to plan our lesson plans accordingly. So in the blended learning, the real classroom time may reduce to 50% after the school reopens. So you need to understand that when children are in school, plan for the experiences which only a school can provide, which is a must in face-to-face setting. The rest can be planned for remote learning. So we go to the next. I'm trying to prepare you for the new normal that will come, wherein blended learning will find a great importance. Now, due to COVID, the development milestones of the child will not stop. The children continue to grow. There are some domains of development which we need to address, whether the schools are functioning or not. It is our responsibility that the learning doesn't stop. So there are some personal, social, and emotional developmental stages which need to be addressed. Right now, then offline, online, when children are from home, later on when the school reopens, you plan all this as offline, online, remote, face-to-face. Right now, I think, Geeta, if you can share, over to you, Geeta, just share on how personal, social, and emotional development of the children can be taken care of. Over to you, Geeta.
Thank you, Sonal. That was a wonderful explanation of blended learning. Chandraji, can I have my slide, at least one slide?
Yeah, ma'am. So your slides will be there in a moment.
Yeah, it's there.
It's there in front of you. And I just would like to add to what Sonal ma'am said, that education is not limited to the walls of the school building, right? So in current situations, though the teacher is at some other place, the kid is at home, but yeah, we will ensure that the learning happens at the pace which is required by the child. Over to Geeta ma'am, please.
Yeah. Good evening, everybody. Can you all hear me? Chandra, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, ma'am. You are audible, completely perfect.
All right. Thank you, Sonal, and good evening, everyone who's watching this program. It's been wonderful, and I must, in the beginning itself, thank Chandra for inviting me to be with Sonal to share some of the learning experiences that we have had in the preschool. Sonal ma'am has beautifully shared and spoken about blended learning. Many schools in India are trying to manage blended learning, but there are a lot of places and schools where blended learning concept is still not in the process. People have not understood the concept, but wherever blended learning is taking place, whatever I have understood and shared and heard from others, it's been a beautiful journey. Only the classrooms and walls are not going to be very effective. So as Sonal ma'am has already told you what is blended learning, well, I'll just repeat once again, virtual learning platforms can be included, and of late, we all preschool teachers who are far, far away from technology have managed to learn go virtual. We've really upgraded ourselves from experiential learning. We've come down to become virtual teachers, and I'm sure it must have been a task for each one of you. Young generation teachers are very computer savvy and techno savvy, but there are some teachers, senior teachers in the preschool who must have found it difficult but have come up to the challenge. I have seen many, many teachers in my city coming up to the challenge of virtual learning. Along with it, we can also have inquiry-based project learning, which normally many schools are doing it. Technological integration is a form of blended learning. In the classrooms, when we are using the PPTs, when we are showing children a lot of different sites from the computer or the touch screens, we are already into the technological integration. Many of you must have been part of Global Connection activities. We had done the British Council School Award, where even at preschool level, we were able to connect with so many countries across the world with different topics, and it was a beautiful journey. I would really want all the preschools across the country to connect with each other. Need not go for an award or something, but you can always, with the internet connections available and sites available, you must connect to one or two schools across either in the country itself or abroad to understand and share your knowledge. And that's how we can enhance our global connections. Game-based learning, of course, we all use a lot of games in the classroom, and we suggest the same things at home for parents to continue teaching the children. Direct instruction is what we are normally doing in the classrooms. Peer-to-peer coaching, many times we use the same concept in the class for teaching children with various activities. Next slide, please. When Sonal said about personal skills, now blended learning, as we have already mentioned, can happen in the classrooms as well as with face-to-face teacher connection, as well as sending things at home and parents doing things at home along with the children also. At preschool level, personal skills are extremely important for development.
Geeta ma'am, can you be a little louder, please?
All right.
Yeah, sure.
Just a moment.
Yeah, no worries. You are perfectly visible. A little louder, please, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Now am I audible clearly?
Perfect. Thank you, ma'am.
All right. The personal skills which are developed in the preschool, within the classroom and outside the classroom, you know that you all have been doing it. I'm just sharing some of the pictures which gives you an idea about what different personal skill activities are done in the classroom. Children should be taught self-care. You must have all done the activities of mirroring themselves, taking out, giving a doll bath and showing them how to take care of oneself. When personal skills are at early age is taught to the children, it makes a lot of difference in their grooming and in their personality. A lot of various activities are done for developing personal skills in the children. Some of them you can already see are teaching them to be independent, asking them to take care of themselves, teaching how to take off their shoes and socks in the school itself, giving them large t-shirts in the classroom for changing and wearing it again and again, using some Montessori training skills, teaching them how to take care of things at home, the life skills that can be developed. Those are the parts of personal skills that has to be done. The social skills, another very important aspect of preschoolers. Social skills definitely starts developing from home itself, from the time the child is born and they started expressing his emotions at home. But that is not the only area where social skills are developed. We think that just communicating to a child and talking to a child, social skills would develop. But no, we need to, in the school, give them a lot of opportunity to develop the social skills. How to express the emotions, how to communicate, how to be good listeners, how to do group work are the most important social skills that have to be developed at school also. There are various activities which can be done for developing these social skills in the classrooms. You can see that when group activity is given, there is a lot of communication happening between the children. When you are teaching them small emotions, different emotions, the understanding of emotions becomes very important. By naming them, who is sad, who is happy, what is the meaning of smile, what it is to be happy, when do you get angry. Very, very specific activities must be designed in the class for the children to understand the emotions so that they can name the emotions, feel the emotions, experience it. And you can send activities home for the parents to sit with the children and understand these emotions. And next day in the class, you can have a conversation. Yesterday, who was angry? Who gave a smile to you? Were you happy? All those ways are the small ways of bringing active learning in the classroom, at the same time involving the home also. The other most important skill in preschool is definitely cognitive skills. Cognitive skills cannot be only a chalk-talk method. When you want to develop the brain of this little child who's 3 years and 4 years and 5 years, the most important aspect of brain development is at this time. All the neurons can be stimulated between 0 to 6 when you give them wonderful experiences. Some of the pictures that you are seeing is the higher order thinking skills which are developed in the classroom. We give them questions where the children have to think, they have to answer, they have to go home and talk to the parents, come back and give us the answer. I would call that also blended learning. You can send small videos to the parents. Now that WhatsApp and different modes of communication and ERPs are used in the school, clip learning is also one way of developing cognitive skills in the classroom. It's not only higher class children who are using clip learning. When you send certain videos, certain things to the children at home, you will be able to develop their communication skills, their observational skills, their speech, their listening skills. And when they come back to the class, you can have a constant discussions with them. Do focus on developing higher order thinking skills in the children. Teacher should be a facilitator even in preschool. He doesn't have to be a talk method teacher. See, you can see the children. What do you think they are doing? You can see the shadow of the children.
Yeah, they are observing their shadows, ma'am. Yeah.
Yeah, see what a beautiful experience at such a young age.
Exactly. So learning can be at any place at any point. Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah, you just take them out on the ground. It need not be in the four walls. This is also blended learning. You should not be in the four walls of the classroom. All you have to do is to just take them out of the class, go to a place where there is good sun, see, tell them to observe. You need not speak anything to them. Let them observe. Let them come up with their ideas. Let them ask you questions. Let them tell you what they are doing. And these are the activities which has to be out of the box and which has to be a part of curriculum. And believe me, for all these things, you do not need expensive equipments. You do not need very expensive teaching aids. These are simple activities where there is stimulation of brain. This little girl is allowed to speak about the works that she would have brought to the school. Asking and giving children opportunity to speak is a very, very important skill, not only for cognitive, but also for social and emotional development.
Geeta, I'd just like to come in over this point for a minute.
Sure, yes, sure.
When you said about, Pankaj, can we go to the previous slide, please? I just wanted to share some insights to the teachers. Can we just go back one slide back? Yeah. So when we are talking about the length part, when we are, no, the one with the shadow. Yeah, exactly.
Shadow.
Yeah. So what we were actually looking forward to is, can we get the today when the child is at home, can the teachers give them a homework that just stand in sun and measure your shadow, something of that sort, right? Can the teachers do this? Can we have your answers on the chat line? Does it seem an interesting exercise? where the child will measure his shadow in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. Do you think this will be an exciting way of learning for the child? So we are not teaching geography, but we are initializing a concept with the kids over there about how they would like to go about and uh, measure their shadow. If not by a tape, but they can just measure their shadow by the number of tiles they cover, right? So something of these sorts are actually needed. And Geeta ma'am, a lot of questions are also coming in where
Okay.
where the teachers are asking that how can we get the blending to be done in the current scenario when the child is at home, and what kind of
Yes.
like devices can the child use, or what exactly would be what we say the flow lines coming in. So if we can have Geeta ma'am to have, I think so she has got a few more slides, so we can wrap it up
Yeah,
and then we'll pick up all the questions from lot of
together, definitely.
Yeah,
We'll
teachers.
do it
sure.
together, and in fact, blended learning is right now at a most important and very easily done. Of course, if you think that you're looking at the screen and talking to the child and you're not having the child in front of you, that's okay. That's a very temporary situation, but there are a lot of beautiful activities that can be done at home. We'll come back to that. Just let me finish this.
Sure, ma'am.
The little girl is given so much of opportunity to speak in the class. That is again for the cognitive skills. Fine motor skills. Well, this first photograph is what is happening at home. The child is sitting and pounding some masala. Please go back to the previous slide,
Yeah.
Pankaj.
Yeah.
Look at that. This is the recent photograph of the child who has been given work at home. You
Right.
need not have teaching aids in the classroom. You need not have reading and everything only in the class. And we know that parents will not be having those materials which we have in the school. They may not be having it at home. So here the child was given an activity where the child is asked for pounding soft things. You could give them groundnut to pound. You can give them little fruits, pieces of fruit to the parents. Of course, you need to write proper, clear instructions or suggestions to the parents when you want children to do such activities at home. These are very simple activities. In fact, whenever at this point of time when the children are not in the school, we as teachers must keep in mind that the resources at home is what we are going to use for teaching our children. This next picture which you see, nothing is happening but buttoning of the shirts. You can ask your child to button the shirts at home, the t-shirts, their own shirts, where you are helping the child to develop fine motor skills. In the school, we have hundreds of things to give them. At home, there are 200 things which they can actually use. And this is the time where we can teach our children life skills. School and house need not be two separate entities. These are the daily codes that the children can learn. The simple Bisleri bottle, two simple Bisleri bottle at home, and the parent has to be told, don't bother about the mess of water that the child will create at home. Give him a proper place, give a tub filled with water, and two simple water bottles. All they need to do is to pour it from one bottle to the other. The child is going to enjoy this activity. The child is going to be very, very happy messing around with water, and will slowly learn to pour the water without spilling, where the concentration is developing, the fine motor is developing, the balancing is developing, and the child is learning a lot of other things on his own without anybody nagging or telling or giving them instructions. So there are a lot of activities which actually can be done at home, whether it is fine motor, whether it is gross motor, whether it is emotional, whether it is social development or cognitive development or sensory diet. Next slide, please.
Yeah.
Oh, emotional skills again, pictures telling you how emotional skills can be developed. In this picture, the child is sharing the tiffin with another child, and at home, well, this is an age the preschoolers do not like to share anything. They would want to keep everything to themselves. This is the time where the little kids can be taught social skills at home, asking them to serve their parents, asking them to go and give something to their grandparents, asking them to be a part of cooking at home, talking to them about emotions. When do you get angry? When do you get happy? The dollhouse activity in the school is definitely, all of you would agree, is one of the best activities for developing emotional skills and understanding the social skills of the children. At the moment, dollhouse is at home. The parents and the children can definitely have these kind of activities at home. The gross motor skill, another very important skill at the preschool. Here, there are a lot of activities that can be done in the school for development of large muscles. Same thing can be done at home. I'm already answering some of the questions that the teachers are asking.
So some of the questions, ma'am, actually we had a questions from teachers also on WhatsApp coming in to when you are talking of blended learning. Pankaj, can we have also Sonal ma'am and everybody on the screen, please?
Am I not seen on the screen? I'm there, I can see.
It is either or, ma'am. Yeah.
Okay. So I would like to answer to the previous question that you asked. So can you repeat the question? You were saying that how can blended learning happen in the present scenario? That was the first question, right? Before I answer to that question, Chandra bhai.
The question is, sorry, I came in. The question is a little large one. So the question which has come is, how does the blended learning in the current situation, its question is for Sonal ma'am and Geeta ma'am both, that how you bring in the visual as well as the oral, the auditory and the music, or the verbal or the kinesthetic or the logical or the group activities or for the child sitting at home today, right, through the blended.
Yes.
So this is, we have different learning styles. So we would like both the panel because you have decades of experience.
So see, Geeta, I would like to answer this and then you follow, you just fill in the gaps if there are any. See, blended learning, as I said, right now I can say that this is the COVID era and then we will have the post-COVID era. So in the COVID era, face-to-face learning will not happen. As I said in my presentation, the teachers will miss, understanding from the expression of the child, whether the child is learning or not, what is the learning style of that child. There is no understanding, very less understanding, I must say. So you will have to depend on the parents. And that is why I said that you observe. In your lesson plans, have some time for observation. Ask for the videos of the children from the parents. And then the teacher will have to sit and observe those videos. And then the teacher will have to understand what is the most developed intelligence in this particular child. What could be the learning style from whatever the teacher is looking into the videos. Once the children start coming to school, then they will have more time, more face-to-face time. And in that time, they can just confirm whatever they had, concluded from the videos. So actually, we will be missing on face-to-face part of the blended learning, which the parents will have to shoulder the responsibility. And the parents will have to share. We can give a checklist to the parents. Whatever you were using in the school to understand the child, that responsibility you will have to share with the parents. And the parents will definitely have a bigger role for the preschool. Yes, Geeta, would you like to add something to it?
Ma'am, you are on mute. Geeta, ma'am.
Okay.
Geeta, unmute yourself.
Yeah. I was just saying, I can already see somebody answering that, yes, the parents have started sending videos the way Sonal ma'am just said, that the parents will send videos and the teachers have to observe the videos and understand the child's learning ability or the level. Even the schools which are using Zoom, Teams and other things by which the children can be seen face to face. Yes, it is virtual, but you still are able to see your child, and a lot of activities, though it is I would say, yes, it is the parent who is involved every moment for some longer period of time. But when clear instructions are given to the parents and proper videos of the teacher is sent to the children, there is beautiful learning taking place even at home. And the children initially did not respond, but now most of the school children are responding to this virtual learning and are sending back the videos and things which they have done at home. So if you look at it, schools who are connected virtually are still giving their best to the children. And that can be blended learning. There can be a lot of activities which can be given to the children.
Yeah. the activities Geeta ma'am said, most of them must be doing. But I am worried about especially the emotional skills and the social skills. When children are not with their friends around, when they are with their parents, their grandparents, it is very different. So believe me, educators, when the children come back, they are going to come back from a very different situation. You will have to deal a pampered child. I don't know what all emotionally he has grown in these 6 months, 8 months, 1 year. Nobody knows. So when they come back, you will have to focus on their emotional and social skills. So when they are face to face, actual blended learning will happen. We are not trying to prepare you for today. We are also trying to prepare you for the future. So when the new normal will resume, then you will have to take care of their emotional skills and social skills. They will be so used to be surrounded by elders. And now, I think only one child, nuclear families. So it will be very difficult for you to, take care, and you need to prepare. It is not impossible, but I'm trying to say that you should have your preparedness. Think about it, plan properly, and definitely if you can overnight switch over to virtual classrooms, this challenge would be lesser, for you people. So
Absolutely.
Just think about it. Just think about it.
Yes, it is a challenge to now look at the after COVID situations, coming back to the school and looking after the emotional, social needs of the children. One should not be so concerned about the curriculum implementation. Rather, one should focus on the development of life skill, on emotional maturity, emotional intelligence, and personal little small understandings that each one of you must have. ABCD तो सब parents ने घर पे सिखा ही दिया होगा बच्चों को. 3-letter words भी senior KG को आ ही गया होगा. What you need to teach them is acceptance, waiting for turns, understanding, patience. Those are the things which you will have to focus once the school starts.
But Geeta, actually, when parents are teaching them right now and attending so much, expecting so much from their children, teaching from a parent and teaching from a teacher in a school situation is very different. So that is what I'm saying here. The teachers need to continuously guide the parents. They should communicate with them. That was written in the chat box that parents don't want to take the responsibility. That is where your role comes now. You will have to counsel the parents that this is the quality time, and you and only you are responsible right now for what is going on in the home. The children have no time with us. And at times the teachers can have one-to-one communication on WhatsApp, Zoom, whatever, with the child. So that is one wonderful solution. If not real face-to-face, it can be, virtual face-to-face interaction with the child. That is one solution.
Exactly. I would just like to add what Geeta ma'am said. Parents ने ABCD सिखा दिया है. Preschool anyway is not all about only ABCD only, but ma'am has truly said that it's the social emotional learning of the child, and also about learning the letter sounds and how to read out things, where Square Tales is also helping the kids who are at home by giving them a unique way of getting the child to learn. So everybody is trying to pitch their might. There are many more questions which have come in previously also. They are saying that in this COVID time, how can you do a group activity with the children? Can we just have some out of box idea from, because the reason I'm putting these questions to you, because both of you have decades of experience, right, in running schools and running. Geeta ma'am has been at the forefront of preschool. I think many parents would be having their kids with Geeta ma'am now who were earlier with Geeta ma'am, right, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, absolutely.
Would be many parents.
Would you like to take that question?
Yeah, you take it.
My kid is like every other 5 years old. She loves being active, she loves to play, she loves to be naughty all the time. But she won't really read. All that changed when I introduced her to Square Tales.
Square Tales is basically an interactive platform.
It actually makes her self-learn. Just the 10 minutes of it and she grasps everything. It just contains of 2 or 3 letters in the words. She speaks it so clearly.
For beginners, it's very important to learn to read. And then in a later stage, they read to learn.
He is learning correct words, correct pronunciation and his vocabulary is increasing. I am happy he is able to blend the letters and he can read.
She had started reading small sentences and making her own sentences.
So it's more of a fun for him.
The child would love to play with this since it's with full of characters and colorful.
They start with guided reading digitally and then they move to independently reading the physical version of the same book.
The activities and the readings and the books they are giving, it's all based on the neuroscience research.
It's a digital world, of course, so the child would love to play with iPads and phones and all. And they are willingly learning with that.
And I don't feel guilty about giving my daughter the screen time.
I heard about Square Tales online and I just had to try it out.
I'm really happy with Square Tales, that it is giving that overall development to my child.
As in a whole, I'm really very happy to make this decision and gift her Square Tales.
So I am very happy with this Square Tail, and I highly recommend for the parents to go for it.
I'm waiting for more to come in.
And I'm so confident that this product will help my child to become successful and more advanced.
Yeah, ma'am, Geeta ma'am, the question is, how do you do group activities in this COVID-19 times?
That is something which is absolutely one-to-one, which can, it will be different for every family. If you have a nuclear family where there are very less chances of 3 of them sitting together or 4 of them, sibling and mother and father sitting, playing games, talking to each other, finding out, parents will have to come down to the child's level. Because when you are playing a game with the child always wants to win. There are times when there are small games that you can, the snake and the ladder, for example. Other games, Sudoku. You can play Sudoku with your child. It enhances the child's higher order thinking skill. It gives a very good time for the parent and the child to be together. COVID times are not meant to be going out. So it becomes a nuclear family will have their family members. In fact, it is the right time for the father, mother and the children to get connected with small activities, storytelling, answering questions, asking the child to tell a story, playing a Sudoku game, playing cross and zero with the child. The families will have to be together. If it is a joint family, well, the task becomes easier. The grandfather, the grandmother and the other relatives can be a part of group games. And there are a lot of little group games, even fine motor skills for that matter. पिस्ता के shells ले लिए, घर के अंदर एक फ्लोर के ऊपर फ्लावर बनाया, मम्मी भी उस पे shells लगा पे पिस्ता के shells लगा रही है, उसके ऊपर फाइन मोटर डेवलप करने का एग्जांपल दे रही है, पापा भी कर रहे हैं और बच्चा भी कर रहा है. What is happening? It's a group activity where the child will say, नहीं आप जल्दी मत करो, मैं पहले complete करूंगा. So there are a lot of emotional and social skills being developed at home. Parents will have to be guided with innovative activities where some of the family members will have to take the initiative to develop these kind of skills at home.
But what I think, the group activity with the peers is very different from the group activity with the adults. Absolutely. When the children are with the peers, the learning is different. This is when they learn to accept. This is when they learn to share. This is when they learn to, accept failure as well. But when they are at home with the elders, no parent will allow the child to lose. It's the parent who loses, which doesn't happen in a school scenario. That is what I'm talking about, the social and emotional skills, which is really a big challenge.
So the question was, what do we do for group activities at home?
Yes.
And this is a time where the parents understand and the child will also understand.
Yes. I totally agree with you. The activities you gave are wonderful and that is the only thing that is possible. But I'm saying that you cannot, I'm talking to the audience, that you cannot expect that something normal will continue. It's going to be different. And when the children come back, whenever they are with you, you will have to face this challenge and you need to be prepared with it. And so you should have some.
Yes, and certain things cannot be done at home the way we will do it in the school. So one has to accept that and even convince the parents about it.
Yeah.
You have
expecting too much from the parents will also be a problem. I totally agree. They get frustrated. They don't have the patience that the teacher can have. So, that will be also, we can have virtual group activities. if not true, have some virtual group activities. That will, I'm not saying that will, substitute the group activities which happen in the school. Isn't it, Geeta? Can we have some virtual group activities?
Yes, absolutely. We did introduction. At a time, only 8 or 9 children can be seen on the screen in most of the different apps. So we have started working with small groups. We have virtual only twice a week. On the third virtual day, we invite only 9 or 8 children. We give them different opportunities. We could have a vocabulary word building game. We can ask them to introduce themselves. We can ask them to carry an object or a toy from home and talk about it. So, and at that time, the child feels very important, because I remember reading messages from parents that when the child was connecting with the teacher virtually and the teacher called out the name in these small group activities, the child felt very important.
Absolutely.
So in a day, 20 minutes of virtual with small groups of 8 or 10 children, whatever is the capacity of your screen, please call those 8 or 9 children. Give them various activities that you would have done in the classroom where you allow the child to speak. So those kind of activities, object talk, self-talk, telling a short story, singing a rhyme, these are the little activities which you can do. Even word building game, even starting, for example, I'm saying, okay, I'm going to say a word, I'm going to say a fruit's name, apple. Which other name of fruits can you think about? So there are children who are participating, and each one of them will be excited for that competition.
Correct. They will develop some social skills. They will do some group activity. At least they will understand that there is another child who is my friend, okay, who is of my age. And only that much can be introduced. Real sharing, real emotional management is not possible in this scenario today. That is a fact which we all need to accept, and we will have to be ready for the consequences of it. That is what I'm trying to say, that be prepared. Be prepared. Your plans after reopening, when you can have true blended learning, whenever the school reopens, we will have 50% of the time when the students will be coming to school to start with. So you should have some plans that what do you have face to face? What all did the child miss? So that should be taken care of as on a priority basis.
Okay, Geeta ma'am, there is one more question, and this is in relation to the question which has come in, that there is a nuclear family and etc. etc. So what activities can be given to a solitary learner to open up with his friends or with his family or with people around him?
Chandar, a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old doesn't like to come up in the open where the parents will keep pushing, ek story bol dena, ek rhyme bol dena. That expectation from the parent child that please come in front of the audience and speak, so that the parents feel proud about the child's ability. But you cannot push the child. The child needs his own time to open up. The child needs his own pace for understanding himself. In the house, positive language, encouraging them with all the little independent activities that they do. A solitary child at home cannot be made to stand in public and speak suddenly when the child has not gone to school and has not connected with other humans. That expectation itself is not in place with the child's ability. So the child, if the parent is conscious about using positive language at home, encouraging the child to do whatever has to be done, not criticizing the child for every little thing, not saying mat kar aisa, toot jayega, mat utha usko. Instead, giving the child a lot of opportunity to be himself or herself by doing small acts where there is a positive reinforcement given to the child will automatically develop the confidence in himself. And then when this child comes to the social group, he will start connecting with people because he has a very positive self-esteem about himself even at that young age. And that is the responsibility of the nuclear family parent.
Oh, that's a great one. We have a few more questions also to be taken up. And after that, there is a nice video which we are going to share to all our panelists about what happens to all the... I just would like to special session coming up. We have a few more questions, but before that I would just like to announce next week we have a special session coming up with a session saying all about fitness through dance for teachers, right? and we have got it curated specially for all our teachers having 3 basic problems into their physical fitness. One is many a times they are using their hand to write on the board and they have many a times shoulder issues. Second, they are standing for minimum 6 to 7 hours, not in the current time. So many teachers have a knee problem. And the third is a back pain. So seeing to these 3 aspects which our teachers are facing many a times, we are doing a special session where we are getting a fitness trainer to explain all about fitness and how this is going to help you. And there will be a special message from her, not only about the fitness, but about diet and all also, which we'll play the video after a few minutes. So now over to the next question which comes in is, the question which is coming in is, how do you get a child who is a visual learner to learn again at home? I'm putting all these separately because these questions have been coming in off and on. So today when we have Geeta ma'am over here, we would like her to answer that what activity can a teacher give for a visual learner at home, which is more blended in nature, where she can also do a recognition how things are happening for her.
Okay. Now, which age group are we talking about? We could be only talking about 3-year, 4-year-old, 5-year-olds, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So a 3-year-old need not be learning spellings of a window or a door or a refrigerator. But the child can be made to learn vocabulary by pointing out all the things that are available at home. The child is a visual learner. Show him the refrigerator and tell him this is a fridge, this is a bucket, this is a spoon, this is a fork. And tomorrow when he goes back to his classroom, he will find similar things there in the class. At home, there are a lot of opportunity for the child to enhance the cognitive skill, vocabulary skill, and everything else, whether he's an auditory learner or a visual learner. In fact, there are a lot of things in the house which can be shown to the child, which is definitely visual learning. So pointing out at every small thing, by the time, if we as educators think that textbook के अंदर हमने उनको bathtub दिखा दिया, washroom दिखा दिया, किचन के इक्विपमेंट्स दिखा दिया और हम अपना काम फ्लैश कार्ड से कर लेते हैं, तो इतना अच्छा मौका तो हमें अभी मिला है घर पे पेरेंट्स को बोलने के लिए. Yes, the mother is a little burdened. Probably she doesn't know what is a ladle and what is a fork, and you will have to help her out with that. But if you send those pictures at home and guide the parents with the right vocabulary and tell them to teach every little object in the house, name them, itself is a great learning for the child.
Yeah, it will be a nice vocabulary building. I many a times find people who speak a good English also, they just speak, go and bring
Yes.
that something like that.
Yeah.
So
we say मुझे एक रबर दो, लेकिन आजकल हम सब बोलते हैं रबर मत बोलो, इरेजर बोलते हैं. So use the right word. He learn the right word in the process. Even the parents will learn vocabulary of English, which probably not all of them are familiar with. So the teacher's task becomes a little more, where she sends pictures of the. Remember always to connect with home at the present. There is no possibility of the child going out and looking at things. So a visual learner can be given a video from your side where he is seeing the things and learning. Like so many beautiful videos are available, links are available. Send those links to the parents. Other than that, help them to understand the things at home and let them learn the life skills.
I think I will repeat my favorite statement, that the role of the teacher will change from sage on the stage to guide by the side. So, individually, the teacher will have to understand which child needs what. So you just cannot be the sage on the stage. You will have to understand the needs, the family background, the situation at home of every child, and then design accordingly some learning program for that particular child.
Yeah, ma'am. So I would like to hear, the questions are many, but we will once again get some opportunity to bring the esteemed panelists once again back to this audience, right? Maybe during the convocation ceremony or the last day, we'll just try and work out. So,
but the audience is really wonderful. The kind of questions, the chat box, I'm really enjoying it. So it's great to be with this audience.
Very active group. Very nice to see such energized preschool teachers in the country.
Yes. And hats off to all the preschool educators. You are educating the children who don't even have the concept of school. They don't know what the school is, and you took the school to their homes. So hats off to all the preschool educators, especially.
Geeta ma'am, just a correction, with the teachers are not from the country, but they are from other parts of Asia also. So many
Wow.
people from Sharjah, from Bangladesh, Nepal, they join us every week.
We are privileged to have them listening to us.
Yes.
So since our time is almost over, I would like to have a closing comments from both our eminent panelists, and then we close the proceedings for the day. Over to both the ma'am.
Okay, I'll take it up, Sonal. I just want to tell all the teachers that excuses will always be there in our lives. Opportunities won't be there. COVID is an opportunity for upgrading yourself, for reaching out to the parents and children in ways which we have never done so. This is an opportunity to enhance, connect, empathize, and be with the group of parents who are going to be connected with you or who are already connected with you. So my final statement is, good teacher teaches, but a good teacher teaches, but a great teacher transforms. So I want all the teachers to be transformers of these little children who will give back to the country, wonderful citizens who are well-grown, well-developed, and balanced. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
I would just like to say thank you that you never allowed the learning to end, and the learning continues because of you. And I would conclude with Albert Einstein's statement: be inspired. Imagination is more important than knowledge. So this is the time for you to imagine and be creative. Thank you, all of you. Thank you. Thank you, Geeta. Thank you, Mr. Moorjani.
Thank you, Sonal, and thank you, Chandar, for giving us such a wonderful opportunity. God bless you all, and take care. Stay home. Stay safe.
Thank you very much, all the panelists and everybody at the back end, Mr. Pankaj, Ms. Nandini, all helping me out into this program. And now we would play this small video which tells what happens next week. Over to the video, please.
Hello everyone, I'm Aarti Pandey, founder of Folk Fitness, and I'm super excited to meet all of you on Thursday, 30th July from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. We are going to start our workshop with Dhamakedar Dance with Fitness workout for 10 minutes, and then I will be speaking on fitness for women. All your questions about that knee pain, the shoulder pain, the backache would be answered. And that's not it. I have a super surprise gift of kitchen assessment form for each one of you who will be joining me on Thursday. So don't forget it and block your calendar.
So that was the brief message from Miss Aarti Pandey, what she will be doing with all our participants and how she is going to help them to get that fitness in order. This is me, Chandar Moorjani, and signing off on behalf of Team Square Panda. And a big thank you once again to Sonal ma'am and Geeta Sikdar ma'am for joining us during these testing times when they have a lot of personal and professional challenges at back end, but still joining us and sharing their valuable time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chandar.
Thank you. Pleasure was ours.
Square Tales is our research-based storytelling product. Young children with hardly 8 letters can start reading a book with this product. It's a digital product. On a tablet, a child can by themselves, or with the help of the parent, can practice blending words together, and that leads to them actually reading the book. Square Tales also combines both digital and physical. The child first learns to read on the digital book and then can transfer that knowledge to read a physical book itself. And again, all of this by spending only 15-20 minutes a day with each book or as they progress through the books. In the schools that we've been working with, we found that children within a few weeks are starting to become more independent. They're actually starting to read their textbooks. They're starting to pick up other pieces of newspaper articles and starting to read, or trying to read, let's just say, very quickly.